Good morning, everybody. Ben Jax Doolally here. Today, I'd like to talk about relationship building with entities. Um, I've started attempting to build a relationship with Belial. He seems to be pretty much one of the most popular entities to work with right now. And partly that's why I've been avoiding it, trying not to jump on the bandwagon, but it I'm starting to see why people work with him just by looking into him, what he's about, how he works, things like that. But this isn't necessarily about Belial. Like I said, it's about relationship building in general. Personally, I feel that before you start working with an entity, that it's important to actually build a foundation first. Um, some people will jump right in, say, okay, I need this done, so this being is good for that, so I'm just going to, call them up, say, hey, give me this, I'll give you that, and it's done. Not really my style. So, comfortable here. Basically, it starts with whoever it is you decide to work with, for whatever reason you're working with them, you need to learn who they are, what they're about, what they like. It's like any kind of relationship building, really. Um, you need to not just work with them in a purely technical sense. You need to build that level of attachment of sorts, because without that, you're just kind of uh, just. I'm not sure how to put it, but without that level of intimacy, not that kind of intimacy. That sometimes, depending, meh, tangent. Um, but without building that level of trust between the two of you, without learning who they are, you're not going to be able to work with them fully. And frequently, that's what a lot of people desire: a long term working relationship with this being. Uh, a good place to start is always reading. Now, this can be anything, whether it's books, if you have them. It can be PDFs. If you're watching this, you obviously have the internet. Use it. Google is your friend. One of the best things you can do, really, is read. Read and read some more. If you think you found all the information you can, try a little longer just to be safe. Uh, Next step, really, I would say, is that's when you want to start making contact. Personally, I don't attempt summonings right off the gate. Um, I prefer to start, once I determine what the entity enjoys, um, I start leaving offerings. Uh, it's If they have a sigil, then that's usually a good place to start. Make the sigil, you know, leave offerings to them, just basically as a goodwill gesture, a sign that you want to start working with them. Here we have let's see if you can see if I can get the light right on that. There we go. This is a Belial disc I made. Not the best in the world. My skills could use a little work, but it's just a black stained wooden disc um, with red acrylic paint. It's not an expensive thing to do, and it helps immensely. Yes, you can use pen and paper if you want. Personally, I find having something a little more solid makes things a little easier. These discs you can pick up at most craft stores. I think you can go to Walmart and get them for less than $2. And paint pens, if you don't have paint and brush, are the same thing. They're like $1. You don't have to get the stain. That's the thing of stain is like usually $7 to $8, even the small ones. So that's up to you. I do a lot of woodworking crafts, so I had it on hand. But that's building an actual physical solid foundation is a really good place to start, and it shows that you're serious about working. Well, partly shows anyway. And then you leave, and then you can present your offerings. Belial is, I know he's very partial to blood, and I'm not squeamish about using blood in ritual. So there is a drop, a very small drop of blood mixed in with the paint when I make that. You might not be working with entities that like blood offerings, but it's entirely up to you. It's between you and the entity and what they prefer. If they happen to really enjoy wine, that actually wouldn't be a bad option to buy a bottle and actually use the wine as a wood stain, or to mix a little bit of it in with the paint to craft the sigil, the name. And yeah, and that's basically where you start working. It's not the only way to go. This is just my personal opinion. It's the way I do things, and it's always worked well for me. Read as much as you can. Present goodwill gestures. And be respectful. That's the biggest part. Always be respectful to the spirits you're working with. Don't, roll over and play dead either. You can't be completely and utterly submissive to these beings, because then you're just seen as not worth working with, usually. And what you need to do is just approach them like you would a respected colleague or an elder. Be polite. Don't be a dick. And don't show weakness. Trust me, they already know what they are. The fact is, you have to overcome it. You cannot be afraid to work with these beings. Not just demons, but any kind of being. Gods, spirits, anything. There are many gods that can be just as, if not more, terrifying than any demon you will ever come across. Odin, Morrigan, those are two examples that come to mind right off gate. So that's it, really. That's all I can really say. The rest is entirely up to you. You need to be tactful. You need to be serious about your intent. And if you want to build a long-lasting working relationship with an entity, you have to absolutely be 100% devoted to the task at hand. And you have to be willing to work with them. You can't, expect something for nothing. You have to be willing to work for it. And that's really all I can say on the matter. Because that's pretty much all there is to it. Final note, actually. If you don't have a developed sixth sense about these things, if you can't hear the beings, or if you can't really see them, and you want to actually, and you still want to try to work with them, probably your best bet would be to follow the first couple steps up to the point of the sigil, and just make sure you lay a solid groundwork for your intent. What you are willing and unwilling to do. If it's a very particular thing you're wanting to go for, I would say be very clear. I mean, like, fine print contract clear. That way, once you have presented your offerings and they, whether accept or decline, you don't get hit by any nasty monkey paw surprises. Unless, of course, you're absolutely willing to accept that risk and basically put your fate in their hands. On the other hand, they might just say no, but that comes with the importance of developing your psychic senses. So, with that said, that's it for this video. I'm going to try to start putting out something more regularly, because I know my channel is still new. I know not many people watch it, like maybe like 5. I haven't checked my subscription list lately, so. That said, I hope this has been helpful, and good luck with any future